is absolutely iconic, Jenna. You are truly an icon I admire.
I'm sorry everyone else missed that.
I wish
Because I'm proud of it too.
that was just, we're going to leave it as a mystery for
Okay.
now because it was so good. Hello to Michael, who was first. Nice to see you, honey. And thank you for the follow on Instagram. We also have Jennifer here. Hello, Jennifer.
Yay!
Welcome,
Hi,
friend.
Jennifer.
Nice to see you. I believe everyone right now is over at AuthorTube Karaoke. So,
Bringing down the house as well they should be.
I imagine they'll shuffle their way on over whenever they're done with that, which is fun because, like, I don't sing. So,
Yeah. It's not quite a raid, it'll be a shuffle.
exactly. Just a little creep, 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 creep,
Yeah.
with their shoes skirting on the floor. That
Yeah.
sort of shuffle. What are you working on today?
I am working on an article for Medium, and I've never published anything on Medium before, but I'm trying to get about 3 or 4 articles ready to deploy simultaneously onto Medium and try that method of monetization and see what happens there.
I am super interested in that. Please let me know how it goes. What's the payment structure behind that? Do you know?
I'm not really familiar. JC writes for Medium pretty regularly, so she's somebody who has a lot more expertise than I do. I understand that the people who are members of Medium pay like $5 a month. And if they read your article for longer than 1 minute, you get a little clip of that $5. So I think it's pennies per read time now, very much like YouTube has watch time. And I think it used to be per click, and now it's by the amount of time someone actually spends reading. So I'm really not sure what that pay structure is like, but there's all kinds of videos about making money on Medium. So I was like, I want some money. I'll try making money on Medium.
Is that website where you have to pay to join and then you write and you can enter contests? Is that what I'm seeing? Or is that a different site that I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of like I see the catchy headlines like $10,000 for a short story, sci-fi fantasy, including starships or something like that.
That could be part of it. As far as I know, Medium is a free platform for the consumer unless you want to have access to everything, and then you pay that $5 monthly membership. But there's fiction, short stories that can be done, and there's personal essays, and there's journalistic stuff. So it seems like as a website itself, it doesn't require a membership. It's not like Patreon where it's a paywalled thing. I think it's paywalled if you want to see specific elements of the website. That's my understanding. But like I said, I haven't gone live yet, so I'm not really sure. JC is going to have the answers for us.
I will touch base with her. I'll make a question about that on my banners so that I can touch base with her next Friday. Yeah. Hi, Cool, and hello, Nia. Welcome to both of you. I'm so happy that you're here. We have finally gotten notifications. It looks like our viewers are finally here. Would you like to go ahead and do your intro?
I would. So I'm Jenna Gordon, and the Sway Trilogy is now live on Amazon. So if you're feeling frisky and you want a one-handed read, you know where to go.
I love it. That needs to be its own category on Amazon, one-handed read. And my name is Gwenna, at Gwenna the Winner. You are here on my channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. A subscriber a day does keep the dark thoughts away, and I've had a lot of those recently. It's the licensing exam that's coming up, so y'all gotta keep me going. All right,
2 weeks. Is that what you said? 2 weeks?
Less than. It's on the 24th, so I guess like technically exactly 2 weeks. Like it is coming up fast. coming up fast for sure. I am very nervous and studying my anatomy and kinesiology like a mad woman. But, you
That's
know,
all you can do. The
that is all.
flashcards. Yeah.
Um, we're going to go ahead and go into question 1, which is our accountability check-ins. Name a goal you're working towards, what you've already done, and what you must continue to work on in order to reach it. Over to you, Jenna Gordon.
Yeah, so a goal that I'm working towards is getting paid for shorter work. So that's thus the soiree into medium. I've already started working on some articles that I think would generate a lot of clicks and a lot of read throughs. I still have to flesh out the outlines, and a couple of them are based on movies. So I have to sit and watch some movies and take notes as I go. So it's hard work, but someone has to do it.
Just like wearing a spaghetti strap to fix a pipe, hard work, lots of
Someone's
sweat.
got to do it.
Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to get paid for it too.
Right. The money has to go somewhere.
And I have offered a convenient slot.
Yeah.
It's
right
a card
here.
reader. It's a card reader. It's not cleavage. It's a card reader.
I missed you so much. I miss streaming with you so much. I'm so glad you're here right now.
No one else knows what's going on, but I'm glad that you're glad.
I am working towards building content for my YouTube. I have already read 5 books, 6 books, 5 books, something like that, and I have this much left to go in this book. It is about a centimeter wide, and that is what I am going to continue working on to finish that. And after that is done, I'm going to take a brain break because I feel like I earned it, and I'm going to write a little because I earned it.
And it is Preptober.
It is Preptober.
Might as well. Might as well.
Let's. How long of a sprint are you wanting today?
I haven't written anything yet today, so I'm fresh. So you don't ask me because I'd be like, I could do 45. Like, don't use me as a metric.
Let's start with a 30 then. How about that? Yeah. Let's do that. Present, share screen. I've been doing this a minute now, and I still have to do the share screen song in my head every time. All right, friends, we're going to go ahead and roll right into a 30-minute sprint. Go ahead and drop your accountability check-ins in the chat, and we will meet you on the other side. Let's roll on out. Bring a ring, a ring, a ring. Welcome back. How did you do?
I didn't get any words in, but I watched the last 20 minutes or so of Reservoir Dogs and took some notes. That's what I'm doing this article about. It gets really heavy at the end. And so then I just started watching Scooby's Doo on Zombie Island. And
I love that.
so I'm about 7 minutes in and I'm very invested. So I'm anxious to get to another sprint so we can see what happens.
Okay, I will not keep you for very long. I got all but my last chapter of this book read, so I know, and it's a thin last chapter. It's only 5 pages left, thank God. I'm so ready to be done reading about dialogue. I have learned so much my brain feels like it's going to explode.
I was going to ask if this craft book has been more successful than the last couple of craft books, which have been sort of thin.
It is thick on content. Stylistically, I disagree with his style. I think his tone, while less pretentious than the last book I read, equally unapproachable. Right? And I guess I got spoiled with Sasha Black's The Anatomy of Prose because her writing is so approachable and her tone in craft books is just so easily digestible. I mean, like even Stephen King's On Writing and I read Peterson's The Art of Language Invention, and like those are pretty dense books, but they're very approachable and very easily understood. There are just times when I have to reread sentences 2 or 3 times to really grasp the information they're trying to deliver, and it seems unnecessary, right? But I think it's because I am a very straightforward writer, and I value straightforward writing and very direct writing so that I can learn more faster and easier. I prefer things that I can reread 2 or 3 times with ease and just go down a checklist, But with books like this, while incredibly dense on information and definitely a different perspective, like he names things as dialogue that I would not have imagined as dialogue personally. However, he makes very strong points and he digests and presents information in a different way. It's just still one of those things where it's like I wouldn't recommend the book to someone else simply because of its unapproachability. And that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I want to be the person, but I'm a very particular consumer. I am very particular.
You like what you like.
I do.
That's how it is.
I want to say hello to Anna and Morgan and actually Words Fall Rights. Welcome to my channel. Happy to have you. We are going to go ahead and ask one quick question before we hop into another sprint. I'm hoping do you want to do a 20 or a 25 next time?
Surprise me. I can do either.
Okay, cool. Then let me go ahead and pull up a question. Tell me about your favorite story with a dragon in it.
My instinct is to say movies like Pete's Dragon and Puff the Magic Dragon, but I don't remember them enough
to tell me about them.
Remember, like the story.
I
just know there were dragons.
It's funny. My favorite story with the dragon is also a kid's story.
Is it really?
It is. It's Dragon Tales, which used to be on not CNBC, public PBS. It used to be on PBS, and the intro would go, Dragon Tales, come along, Dragon Tales, and it's just I was like, come along and take my hand, let's go out to Dragonland, and I loved it. I loved it. Every time I see a dragon, I hear the Dragon Tale song in my head. It was a story about an older sister and a younger brother who found a dragon scale, and every time they rubbed and made a wish on the dragon scale, they would be transported to Dragonland, which is like full of candy and magic, and it was about them growing up and their adventures. And I guess I watched like a lot of weird shows as a kid, but that was one that just like stuck with me. I loved it.
Dragon Tales. I love it. I love it.
This is it. This is what they would say. I wish with all my heart to fly with dragons in a land apart. Persephone, yes, ma'am.
You've got some fellow fans with you.
Apparently so. Apparently so. That's so funny. Yeah, it was remarkably influential on my childhood in that I cannot get that song out of my head. It's always somewhere back there.
It's always there. Yeah.
I love this show too. It was really good. That was my one question. I am ready to hop right back into another sprint. Are you?
Let's go.
Let's tear through it. Here we go. Share screen. We're going to start with 20 because this is a timer that I actually love. Isn't this a vibe?
Yes.
Look at the skulls. They're so like
Halloween.
fantastically creepy.
Yes.
If you guys have not yet gone to sub for Jenna Gordon Writes down below, go ahead and do that, and then go buy her Books This Way trilogy. And then after that, go over to Laura Nettles' channel here, Laura Nettles, this wonderful lady, and like and subscribe to her as well, because she is also wonderful. With that, let's hop right back in. Roll on out. Bring a ring, a ring, a ring. Welcome back, friends. Welcome back, welcome back. Hi. And hello to everyone in the chat. We've got Dia Rob. Nice to see you. Welcome to my channel. We've got Tiffy and Barrett and Desi and Eva. And where is Margaret? Hello. Welcome. Everyone came rolling in. It looks like I told you it might not have been a shuffle. It might have been a sprint over from karaoke.
Loving it.
I am loving it. I finally finished that book and I sent an email. I had been procrastinating. So thank goodness.
Okay.
Got that done. I'm submitting for a case study for school and I'm hoping it gets approved so that I can perform a case study and then type up a whole report on it and submit it to a competition to see if I can get an opportunity on doing some research in massage therapy.
Nice.
I know.
That's fantastic.
I've got my fingers crossed for sure. They recently loosened the restrictions on this particular case study competition in research massage therapy. So it used to be that you had to be active in school at the time of submitting it, but it turns out now because of COVID and some difficulties in getting research participants, they've lengthened that to 6 months after, which means that I will be having a good amount of time to actually type it up after I graduate. So
excellent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, as you know, research is hard to write.
Yes. Former history. Yeah.
Sprint a raid. I love it. Perusing over.
Barrett always Priuses to everything.
I know.
But Margaret has a different form of transportation. Listen to this.
I was being carried in a chair by two gorgeous hunks. Not on an elephant.
The only way to travel.
I love it.
It's the only way to travel.
Yes, it is exciting. I'm really hoping that it takes off. I'm really hoping I get approval. This is a gaggle of writers. I prefer a murder of writers, like a crow, like we're all just crows.
I have to tell my joke again. If one crow gets stood up for a date, what does that make the crow?
Lonely?
An attempted murder.
Ah! I love it.
Yes, quite like it. Quite like it.
Jenna with the jokes.
A murder of writers, yes.
Yes, a murderer of writers. Yes, the shiny things. Thank you. I hope it goes well. I went ahead and posed in the email what my attempted hypothesis of the case study would be. So
do you already have the client that you want to write about?
And that's the issue is I had a client, but because it has to go through the school, they would have to pay the school for the sessions that I provide, which would be a financial barrier to the client. So I would actually need the school's assistance in finding a new client.
With that thing.
Same issue.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at the use of abdominal massage to decrease endometrial dysmenorrhea. So like the period pain that you get when you have endometriosis. I was really hoping that I could do a full case study on that. So
nice.
It would be great because I think it would help. And I think it's new territory in the industry because not a lot of research has been done into massage as treatment for women's issues. So
interesting. Yeah.
I was wondering what the collective noun for pigeons was, and Google says piteousness?
A piteousness of pigeons.
A piteousness of pigeons. Oh, we can be a petty of author doers. Oh, I love it.
Yes.
Yes. Exactly. After the petty discussion the other night.
Yeah,
So good.
it
So good.
fits. It fits.
It does. Okay. So I asked you about dragons on the last sprint. Here's another easy question. Tell me about your favorite story with spaceships.
The first story that I became aware of with spaceships was The Little Prince,
Mm-hmm.
and then a little bit later, Flight of the Navigator, the movie, and involves a spaceship. But like a storybook with
Doesn't matter.
spaceships. Okay, I
Any
can't
story.
immediately think of any spaceship stories
Oh my
offhand.
gosh. This discussion. It was yesterday's stream. Memory called Empire. Spaceballs. Okay.
Yes. Des, that's a good one.
And Star Wars. I love it. Mine would probably be an anime called Ad Astra, which is actually a surprisingly good anime. I thought with the lack of explosions that it would not be half as good as it is, because you know me, I love my explosions, but it was actually deeper than I thought it would be. Without getting too much into the plot, it's about a group of kids in the distant future, very distant future, who go on a 1 week camping trip on another planet, and they end up getting sucked through a wormhole into the vacuum of space. And I know, some of them make it, some of them don't, but the ones that do get onto a spaceship and they're trying to get home. And it's got surprising amount of world building, a surprising amount of plot twists, great character development, just like a ridiculous amount of really good story for an anime that only had 1 season.
I was going to ask how long it went on.
12 episodes.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was ridiculously I know we did discuss this. Yeah, it's
E.T., yeah. Thanks, Barrett. I forgot about E.T.
it's hard when you're asked about specific things to come up with stories.
Yeah, and I just wasn't ever a sci-fi fantasy person. I didn't get
Mhm.
exposed to stuff. I've never seen Star Wars. My dad has never seen Star Wars.
Wow.
So I know we actually try to be careful like who we tell that to so we don't get our passports taken away.
Yeah,
Uh,
some people
I'm
very
telling you.
enthusiastic.
Yeah. But I just didn't Nia brought up the Jetsons. That's a good one. I
Uh-huh.
forgot about the Jetsons. But I all of that is from, the mid to late 80s, and I haven't been there in a while.
Barrett, tell us about Darkly Simmering in the chat. What's that about? I haven't heard of it. I would love to hear more. Mr. tosses in Armada. Yeah, that's the second Armada that we got. Huh. Lord of the Rings does not have spaceships. You missed our previous question about dragons. Oh. Yep, The Stars We Steal is an Alexa Dunn book. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah,
That
that's a
was
good
a
one.
yeah, Steven Spielberg movie.
Love it. Here we go.
Yeah. Sorry. I know I really failed the dragon question and I got excited about the second question. And then it was about spaceships.
My
And I
apologies.
failed that question. So
My apologies.
I'm sorry. I'm over 2. I wish I could offer you some stimulating banter.
It's all right. I'm happy to have you here. You have made me like full on belly laugh at least 3 times in the past hour and 15 minutes. Absolutely insane. Like there's There's so much joy you bring to my channel. I'm just so happy that you're here and streaming with me again.
I'm delighted to be here.
Oh, the dragon question was name just a story about dragons that you liked. Everything's always shady. Here we go. All right. So, do you want like a serious question or do you want like a discussion question? Neither of these require vulnerability checks.
Oh, okay. Discussion.
Discussion. Okay. Let's talk about realism in novels. Do you purposefully write realistically? Why or why not?
Is this directed to me right this moment?
I mean, I can give my answer.
Go for it.
Sure. I think I write some things realistically and other things not so much. I like to take my characters realistically, and I like to take the effects of their development realistically. As far as being in the sci-fi fantasy genre, being in genre fiction like that is inherently unrealistic, and it does require a greater sense of suspended disbelief, which I think at least in the opinions of authors like this, means that it is a lesser art form in some ways. But I think it also requires a greater idea of possibilities and a greater sense of hope for the future to be able to dream up worlds that are so distantly related from our own, but can have great implications for what we believe the future holds, right? So when it comes to realism, the trauma I put my characters through, like murdering their parents and stuff like that, I definitely take that very realistically, and I really try to make sure to hone in on how that can develop them as people. But when it comes to plot, absolutely not. Anything goes. And I think that's honestly just an artistic choice. I don't want to write about realistic plots. I think realistic plots kind of bore me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's sort of for the same reason that, people will like get overwhelmed with the news and watch something silly just to kind of balance it out. I guess as an erotica writer, anything that I write could potentially happen. There's still this fantasy element. Most people are probably not going to act out what I write, although there's a huge community of people who do. But I almost try to make it hyper realistic with the diversity of bodies and abilities and ages and so forth that sort of get sanitized from most erotica writing and erotic videos. So I do tend to sort of lean into realistic, and I find that I don't know how to describe where the line is, but when I'm reading a novel, I do like it to be realistic enough that it's relatable. But every now and then, and I'm not sure where the line is, the author will just push it a hair, and I'll be like, well, that wouldn't have happened. And it kind of pulls me out of the story a little bit. So I think realism in novels is somewhat important because, like what you're saying, it has to be relatable. It has to be believable. It has to speak to your empathy. Whatever is happening in the plot can be fantastic, but there has to be some groundedness in any novel in order for anyone to relate to it, I think.
Do you find that that groundedness often comes out through your characters more than anything else as well?
Probably, and I would imagine that, I mean, for my writing, I think the groundedness comes from just writing it as sometimes things don't work out. because that's what
Mhm.
really happens when people are having sex with each other.
Mhm.
But for like sci-fi, you are, or fantasy, you are by nature innately in this otherness. And I
Mhm.
think the characters do have to ground it, because those are what you're going to be able to relate. The human experience is what you can relate to as the reader.
Mhm. Oh, we got a bunch of comments on all this.
Okay.
I love it. Let's go. Let's go through. All right. Fave story with a dragon in it. Yes. Pop the magic dragon. That's
Who lived
good.
by the sea?
Dragon in the Bag is a middle grade. Okay.
Not heard of that.
I don't read a lot of middle grade, but Katie Salita's Molten Heart was like a great Hawaiian romance combined with a coming of age fantasy shifter tale and a novella. Good stuff.
Nice.
Okay. That's a lot,
Nice.
but awesome. 100% agree. I think characters and emotions need to feel realistic, but the rest of the world's a story. It purely depends on what I'm writing. Oh, cute. Aw, thank you for the agreement. What do you mean by realistic? Does absurdism in a contemporary context qualify, or realistic human motivation in an imagined world? However you want to define it. I am big on answering questions at face value. Desi says, as a contemporary writer, I feel like I have to do my due diligence to write realistically, because if not, it'll get called out, especially
Yeah.
plot. Yeah. In contemporary is a hard field to write in, I've noticed. Your dialogue in contemporary has to be a lot better than a sci-fi fantasies dialogue.
For
There's
sure.
so
And it's a moving target.
Oh yeah.
By the time you get
Oh,
that sumbitch published, the slang could change.
entirely. Absolutely entirely. I do write realistically in Project Lucky. It's heavily inspired by real events and the themes are heavy throughout. Okay. Middle grade has much less realism. Yeah, I think for kids you kind of need to have more room for open imagination.
For sure. I think that kind of allows you to relate to something as a child that's
Mm-hmm.
not so severe, or
Mm-hmm.
it gives you distance enough from the thing that you
Mm.
can relate to it. It's not just so immediate that you can't see the forest for the trees.
Mm-hmm. Pete's Dragon. I
Yes.
first saw in preschool and fell in love with dragons. I also love the Never-Ending Story, which was traumatic for horse lovers,
I
apparently.
don't even want to know why.
Don't hate me, but I've never seen the Never-Ending Story.
My mother says we used to ask to rent that at Blockbuster all the time, and I have no memory of it. Maybe this is why. They blocked it all.
Yes, I purposely write stuff that can realistically happen. Okay, what Jenna
Yeah,
said.
JC is always going around realistically murdering people, which I think is
Tiffany's
fantastic.
realistically kidnapping people.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mia says sometimes I have to ground my fantasy and sci-fi in some level of reality.
Yeah.
Hmm. A child's view of real events isn't the same as an adult's. Yes. Yes. Margaret says, I tried to make my historical characters realistic with detail, but relatable with evergreen conflicts.
Nice. Yeah.
I love a good evergreen conflict, like betrayal by a lover. I
Hmm.
love a good lover betrayal story, regardless of the time period it's set in, and kind of regardless of, unless it's, and no shade to anybody who writes contemporary, I don't really enjoy contemporary. So, like a historical lover betrayal, or like a sci-fi fantasy lover betrayal, like something like that is just, it's juicy. Tiffy says, I think with paranormal, because it isn't the norm, you have to find something
Real
deep.
that people can
Oh,
relate
here.
to. Yeah.
Yep. Family trauma, insecurity, past pain, something we all go through. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that is yeah, I do love the term evergreen. I think that really speaks to genre fiction in that while we have more leeway with the details like dialogue and world building, we really have to hone in on theme.
Yeah.
You have to know your theme through and through and the message you're trying to send to your readers. That way everything else can be built around it.
For sure. For sure.
I took
Yes.
it on
Yes. I didn't mean to
Oh,
disparage JC, of course.
there's nothing I hate more than a badly written murder scene.
That's the thing, is that sometimes if you just push it a hair,
Hmm.
and you don't buy it, it rips you out of the story. Like, you could be
Hmm.
so immersed in it, and if a murder happens in a way that is just too perfect, or it's too pat,
Hmm.
then you get pulled out of it. So you have to write realistically,
Hmm.
these murders that happen.
I
And they
know.
do, and
They
they
do.
do. Yes.
I was CPing for one of my in-person writing group peers, and his story starts with a guy seeing a vision of his dad dead. And one of the attacks was a clean slit across the throat that was the final blow, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't know if you've ever seen a man with his throat slit, but that is not a clean
Yeah.
cut. All right. Like when you slit a man's throat, you gotta pop in one jugular,
Mhm.
tug, 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 and then yank out the other end. So like it's a really jagged cut. You
Yeah.
can't get a clean slice across unless you've got like a katana coming across. And that's not the way that it was described. It was like with a knife that this blow
Yeah.
was made. So I was like, this is just, you gotta realistically murder your characters.
For sure. And there is an art to it, and JC definitely knows more about this than I do. But because I haven't yet written a sex scene where someone has gone to meet the Lord. Um, not yet, anyway. But I do think that kind of research is important, because again, if it pulls the reader out of, I love the feeling of forgetting that I'm reading
Mm,
and forgetting where I am. And it only takes one little trip like that to make you
mhm,
be like, oh, someone is like fabricating this. I'm reading a book.
mhm, exactly. And I think this goes to what you were saying with romance. It's like an invisible scale of that would never happen. If I have 6 or 7 or 8 of those, the scale goes, nope, done.
Yeah. You can have one or two for sure, but
I think sometimes writing unrealistically or poetically are the best way to depict real experiences. Yep. Panic attacks, trauma. Yep. Poetic prose. I love some good poetic prose. I eat it up. Poetic dialogue, not so much. If I see poetry and dialogue, I'm like, who are we reading? No one talks
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But poetic prose, though. I love a good scenery description.
Yeah. For sure.
I want to commit the perfect murder.
Yeah.
I already know I'm going to find something wrong with it because there's no such thing. You might
Yep.
get lucky if not getting caught for a while, but it's not perfect.
For
That's
sure, JC.
funny. Y'all are so funny. If some of those murder people weren't alive, then were they murdered perfectly? Lots and lots of missing people. Absolutely need a perfect kidnapping. I adore you guys. See, this is how I knew it'd be a discussion. Are you up for one more sprint?
Let's go. Let's do
Let's
it.
go. Okay. I've got 25 on a low-key timer for us to end on the
Okay.
I know the excitement. We
Low
did
key.
good.
I mean, that's the I hope Nia is making money hand over fist for this video, because
Uh,
we've been using it since it got released.
right?
I mean,
I
I
just
have not gone a week without seeing little Loki, and I love it.
right? I love his little face.
Look at his little tongue. He's just living his best life.
Right? The joy of this pug. The
Yes.
joy. All right, Autobots, let's go ahead and roll on out. Ring. Welcome back, friends. Welcome back. What did you do during that sprint?
I read a little bit over the notes that I've been taking, just trying to sort of organize them into an outline-ish.
Awesome. I ended up rereading Peterson's portion of his book for sign language and alien language, so I can talk about that as dialogue, which is always a good revisit. It's nice to read a book that makes me read sentences once.
Yes.
It's really nice to have an approachable book in hand. So, And then I compiled all my other books and I ate some ice cream, and that was really nice.
Nice. What kind of ice cream?
I had an ice cream Snickers bar.
Yum.
Where's your champagne?
Where? What?
Where's your champagne? I just hadn't seen it yet. I knew it was sitting around somewhere.
It's here. Yes, it's here. This is my ice cream.
I figured.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is where I drink Brut Natural, which is the lowest sugar you could possibly have in champagne. So it's not sweet, but it does convert to sugar. So I have to sort of decide if I want ice cream or if I want champagne, and the answer usually is champagne.
It's all right. It's a vibe. That's why I asked. I was like, if I have ice cream, she probably has champagne.
I absolutely do.
Hello to Joanne, who came in during our last sprint. Nice to see you, honey. Eva's working on a critique read / developmental edit. Bedtime routine with the kid. Yeah. Ooh. Tiffany looked up how to make frozen hamburgers in the air fryer.
Everyone has air fryers now.
You got to do it. You got to get on this trend. It's worth it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, listen, some trends not worth the hype. Yeah. This trend worth the hype. All right, get rid of your toaster oven. You'll never need it again.
Excellent.
And then Joanne says, I ended up adding more pins to the Pinterest board for Project Sugar and Spice. I love it. Ooh. Yes. And that is always an issue with me, Eva, is that I end up saying too much. I try to tone it down nowadays, but Yes, look.
Okay. All right. I believe you, Anna.
Look, Anna is all the way across the world. And Anna.
I'm getting peer pressure from everywhere.
The air fryer is worth it. Eva has been, I'm so sorry that you had a bad experience, Eva.
So, and one of the things that I understand about the air fryer is because I live alone. And so, preparing food for myself needs to be like a little affair. And it's one method to, cook on a really small scale.
It is. It's nice to have something where I know I will have enough for me, my husband, and my lunch tomorrow, and that's it. Yeah. Right? Like if I'm making a family meal, I'm whipping out the oven. But if it's just for me and my husband, oh my God, it's faster in the air fryer too. Like it's just something about that technology just makes it so much faster. Yeah. Turn yourself down. Oh, thank you. And then the peer pressure sandwich. JC, you got to get on it too.
Thank you, JC. Thank you for joining me in non-air fryer ownership.
Oh, thing took ages to get old. Yeah, it had to be broken. I'm sorry to agree with you. It takes me 5 minutes to cook something that would take 20 in an oven.
I'm also I don't believe in ghosts or anything, but I worry that I would offend my dead grandmother if I made fried okra in an air fryer. She'd be like, what? Where is my cast iron skillet? I know you have it. What is happening here?
Listen, I'm
Two
not
ways
going to
to do it.
pit you against your ancestors, but think of the time that you would save and everything else you can do to please your ancestors in that time.
I would eat a lot more fried okra if I didn't have to make it in the cast iron.
I wouldn't that make your ancestors truly happy?
It would make Jenna happy if I just had this endless supply of fried okra.
We just got a bigger air fryer just for family stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, a pressure cooker you haven't used yet. Yeah, honestly, I enjoy a crock pot, but I do not use it nearly as much as my air fryer. Someone's buying me one,
Yeah.
sure.
That's
Yeah.
where I am on it, JC. I think I'm, aware of its presence in the marketplace, but
hmm Everything takes to have the time and meat. It's so
oh,
tender, juicy, and perfect. It is.
I
Yeah, it
wouldn't have
is.
thought to put meat in there. That's good to know. Okay,
Oh,
thank
in the air
you.
fryer? In the air fryer for sure. It's the easiest way to make baked chicken. Honestly.
Really?
Oh my God. You literally season the chicken, put some Pam on it, toss
Uh-huh.
it in there for 7 minutes, take it out, flip it, toss it in for 7 minutes. Chicken breast done.
Loving
Do you
it.
know how long that would take on an actual pan? At least 20.
Oh, yes. Oh,
It's
yes.
easy. Easiest thing. For fried over, you use the deep fryer.
Thank you,
Listen,
Tiffany. Oil should be involved
I'm
sometimes.
not gonna make fried Oreos in an air fryer. I would use my deep fryer for my fried Oreos.
There you go. Yeah, my dad's wife has a device called a Ninja Foodie, and
hmm
it's like a pressure cooker, crock pot, air fryer, dehydrator, like everything that you could want it to be in one device
Yeah.
so as to minimize counter space. And she uses the pressure cooker and air fryer the most, those
Mm.
capabilities.
You know what I really need? They have now countertop dishwashers, which is
Yes.
just something that I need in my life. My
Mm-hmm.
in-laws would never go for it, but when I get in an apartment, it's number one. It is definitely number one. Like I
My
will go.
yeah,
I just, it's incredible, and it's good enough for two people. Like there's all the
yeah.
room you need.
My awareness of this phenomenon is fairly recent. I came through
hmm
like on an Instagram thing that this could be a countertop dishwashing machine.
hmm
And my actual full-size dishwasher, there's something the matter with it. It smokes every time you use it. So I don't know if it's
Topic is
because
food. It
uh,
smokes every time you use it.
it smokes every time you use it. So that's really not supposed to happen. Um, but the chore that I hate doing the most is
hmm
the dishes. And so I've been kind of using paper plates, but recycling them
Okay. Okay.
best I can. And then I saw this countertop dishwasher thing, and I was like, you know what? I might just take out that dishwasher, put in some extra cabinets,
Oh yeah.
and because it's just me,
hmm
and have the countertop dishwasher. But I had no idea this was a thing.
Oh my God. When we were looking at apartments, I came across an ad for one, and I'm over the moon. I want one so bad. God, I want one so bad.
Put it on your Amazon list.
Put it on my Amazon list. I'll make my
Yeah.
husband buy it for me probably next holiday season, since he got me an air fryer this past holiday season.
Okay.
Air fryers making ancestors turn in their graves since 2018. I love it.
Yeah.
If you've never had a fried Oreo, Anna Arky, I one pity your soul, and two, if you ever come stateside, you have to have a fried Oreo. There is nothing more American.
I have never had a fried or I don't care for Oreos in their natural state. I don't care for chocolate. So I don't care for the Oreo as an institution. Uh, I don't see it getting better fried, and I don't think I could finish one by myself, but I would like to take a bite of somebody else's fried Oreo.
It is warm deep fried, very rich. So the chocolate of the Oreo cookie does
Mhm.
like come apart and melt in your mouth. So it becomes a very rich, like decadent flavor. Like they usually serve them in like groups of 3 at fairs, and I can only eat 2, which tells you like how rich they are, right? Yeah. Yeah, it is the most American thing you've heard because like it's like, oh my God. But at the same time, they're vegan.
Really?
Really, Oreos are vegan. Use a vegan pancake batter, deep fry that baby. You got yourself a deep fried vegan snack.
Who would have thunk? All those chemicals, not one of them animal derived. Love it.
Our ancestors would have loved the
Yeah,
convenience, but not the fact that free time doesn't exist despite it. Yep.
that's a good point, Eva.
It's not a pity if you don't like Oreos, and fried Oreos just seem like a heart attack. It is a heart attack waiting to happen. It's a glorious, decadent Southern heart attack.
What a way to go.
It is a way to go. That and boiled peanuts. I'm
Yeah,
from the US
yeah.
originally, but have
Love me some
boiled.
boiled peanuts.
Oh my God, boiled peanuts are just like such a treat.
I've got a 5-pound bag in that I have had ordered,
Hmm.
and just waiting for the first like really cold day to have some hot boiled
Mm.
peanuts.
With like some Cajun seasoning in it. Oh my God.
Yep, yep, yep.
It is really good and I highly recommend.
Listen,
Ooh, Mars bars.
that sounds like it should come like you purchase the battered Mars bar and you get
Uh-huh.
a complimentary defibrillator with it. Just we're just gonna preempt this.
AED included.
Yes, because you might need to be shocked either because of how delicious it is or because it could actually kill you.
Not an Oreo girl unless
Battered
it's in a
Mars bars,
milkshake.
golly. Yeah.
It is really good. Hey. You saying it vegan makes me not want to try it all the more. You can use a non-vegan pancake batter. I do mix my pancake batter with milk, and it does include egg. So, it's
Mhm.
not vegan for me. Still vegetarian though.
You know what else is unintentionally vegan? Bacon bits.
Bacon bits are, I know. I know. I've heard
Look,
this.
I knew that obviously they weren't bacon, but
Mhm.
it never occurred to me to look at the ingredients and find out what was actually taking place in that bottle. And it turns out bacon bits are vegan. Who would have
I
thought?
know. I know, right? And bacon flavored chips are vegan. They have bacon flavored chips now. Oh
Really?
yeah. Oh yeah.
When I was a vegetarian, I used to time going to the grocery store at specific days and times because of when they would cook the bacon in the deli. And I would
Ooh.
just go and just, I would like get this like bacon contact high because I wasn't a vegetarian because I didn't like meat. Uh, so it was just like bacon porn.
Love that so much.
And it got weird. Like people would start looking over. Just like I'm just having a
When
moment here, please.
my senior year of high school, I started working at a Starbucks inside a Kroger, and I worked the morning shift right before school started, and they were baking bread every morning, and that was the year I discovered Nutella. And
Oh,
every day I would go buy a loaf of bread and just dip in the Nutella and have for breakfast. I put on 15 pounds that year.
that'll do it. That'll do it. But I bet you
Oh,
enjoyed your life about 1,000% more.
I did. I did. And I met my husband, and he still loves me.
There you go. I
Walker's
know.
crisp. Oh my God, yes. My
Yeah, I
bacon bits
didn't
are
realize
vegan, but
that.
that could be because I fry up bacon and crumble it up. Yeah, you
But
homemade all of your food.
two perfect foods, the bacon and the potato,
Oh,
any form, any
oh,
form.
so good. So good. We have to end soon, or else we're going to keep talking about food all night.
Yeah. It's been known to happen.
Food and sex. That's all that we ever talk about on this channel. And speaking of JC's last comment, no, Jenna, what you write about is the way to go. Which is a great plug for going over on Amazon and buying Miss Jenna's Sway trilogy, which was
The
just released.
Sway trilogy.
As she said, it's an excellent one-handed read.
Yes.
Oh, give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and make you solo. Boom. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
Oh, Sworn to Shadows. The Sway trilogy is obviously 3 books, but all of these stories take place on a nudist swingers resort. The first 2 books, the resort is located in the desert, and in the last book, it is located on a tropical island. So it's an erotica book. You can buy the Sway trilogy all together like this, or you can purchase all 3 of the books by themselves and just ignore how ugly the covers are. They were free.
I love you so much. Yes,
In
congrats
fact,
to you.
that's my author bio on the back of the Sway, Caribbean Sway, the book 3 of the Sway trilogy, just says, Jenna Gordon thinks this cover is really ugly, but it was free, so here we are.
I adore who you are as a human being, and I want you to know that. So good. So good.
It's on Amazon, kids. If you want a one-handed read,
Keep yourself busy for a couple nights. Go ahead and go and buy that. Otherwise, if you want a free read, you can check out my Kindle Vella, The Huntress, which is free for this week on Kindle Vella. And with that, we are going to be signing off. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or if you're on Twitch, go ahead and give a follow. I love you all.